In Canada, there is a standoff, the likes of which I'm not sure the country has seen before. Truckers, they started out from Western Canada, and they grew in numbers as they drove across the country, finally reaching the nation's capital, Ottawa, on January 29th, where they say they plan to stay until their demands are met. The engines of the protests ignited over new rules from Ottawa. Those rules ban unvaccinated foreign truckers from entering Canada entirely, and if an unvaccinated Canadian trucker goes to the U.S., they're subject to a PCR test and 14 days of quarantine when they come back. That effectively shuts them out of all cross-border deliveries. For the last 2 years, truckers have been considered essential workers and exempt from entry requirements like these. Now that they've been imposed, the truckers say they've had enough. We're joined now by one of the coordinators of Canada's Freedom Convoy 2022, Benjamin Dichter, and Denby Melisha Morgan, the organizer of the Convoy to Save America. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Benjamin, can we start with you? Can you give us a brief high-level overview of what things look like in Ottawa right now? Who's there? How big is it? What's the response been like?
The response has been amazing and overwhelming, and something I never would have thought I would experience in Canada. The amount of support and unity amongst people, and not only that, initially when we started, you always get worried about what's going to be the response from law enforcement, and we've gone out of our way just to show we're good custodians, despite what the fake news says. And, we've been cleaning up, shoveling, putting garbage in garbage bags. We have all our emergency routes planned in case there's emergency vehicles that need to get through. And after a few days and talking with police on the ground, it seems to be that strategy worked because they understand that it's a peaceful, family-orientated event where people can bring their kids. It's gone off well without a hitch, to the point that police have said to us, okay, it's been, a week. We see you guys are on the ball. You got a good, control center. Everybody's behaving. So we are going to be hands off. Just make sure it doesn't get out of control. But as long as it doesn't, this is something that warrants a political solution, and we're not going to intervene. So it's quite amazing. It's absolutely, there's so many words to describe it.
So how many people have you got out there? Do you have any sense? And I guess it must grow bigger on the weekends.
Yeah, I have no clue. I gave a speech last week with a bunch of people, other organizers and people involved in it, and a pastor and whatever. The view from the stage, if you see the pictures, is, 30, 40, 50,000 people. But you have to remember it was minus 35 degrees or minus 30 degrees that day. And I've never been so cold in my life. Yet still, people didn't care because they've been locked up in their homes for a couple of years. There's people from all walks of life. And I think part of it is when you look at the political sphere, there's really no option to Justin Trudeau because everybody's just following him off a cliff. And people ask me, why do you have $10 million in your GoFundMe? Because that's their vote. It's not even about the money. All the money's going to the truckers, but it's not even about that. It's them signaling to the political class and to everybody, you're the official opposition. That's what's happened.
Basically, you're saying that even the main opposition party, the Conservatives, haven't been against the mandates, haven't been against the lockdowns, although their leader was just ousted and there's a new leader in who seems to be supporting the truckers. Is that a victory for you guys?
Yes. Aaron O'Toole was in the sights of many people, the previous leader. He was basically the bald version of Justin Trudeau. He'd been problematic since day one. But Candace, who's taken over, she's quite good. She's a strong figure. She's got good family values, and she's got a lot of support. And she's more indicative of really what the Conservative brand is in Canada. And the Conservative brand in Canada, it's a little bit soft. It's center-right until you go to Alberta. That's where you get your real, Alberta, Saskatchewan, get your real Conservatives.
So, Denby, let me ask you, looking at things from south of the border, I know there's a bunch of different groups organizing themselves in the U.S. What is your group and what are you planning to do?
All right. So as you mentioned, our group is the Convoy to Save America. We want to support the Canadians. and what they've done in their efforts, because they got this thing started. I mean, they got the ball rolling. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I mean, finally some people are standing up, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then, but the first thing that I thought, I mean, I don't know, it just touched my heart. And I was like, I'm going to contact the organizers of the main convoy and see how we can help on this side, you know? And I think I was in the main group that got shut down. You guys, the convoy to Ottawa, the big page that was shut down. And I said, maybe after Ottawa, how about, you know, convoy to DC? And I was kind of like, ha, ha, ha. And then I had like tons of people like, yes, yes. So I put the hashtag, I was like, convoy to DC. And then I got in touch with Joe Jansen and some other people. And everybody started reaching out, and I got the Facebook group going. I think we have like close to 11,000. And, you know, it just has taken off. And people I have just been overwhelmed at the number of people that are like, let's go. And then, like you said, the Canadian flag and the American flag combined together, and it's everywhere. You know, there's now merch out there with the both together. And like, honestly, I have never felt like connected to the Canadians, because everybody's like, well, Canadians don't like Americans. I'm like, well, I've never met a Canadian who didn't like me. I mean, I've ever met is like, they've liked me. So I was like, I just want to help, because I figure we're all North America, and we all know that Trudeau and Biden are buddies. And so we just need the alliance, and we need to go together and do this thing and get it over with.
So what is it that your group can do to support the Canadians, aside from moral support?
Oh, so we can get people up to the borders, just show our support, show we are going to stand up in solidarity with the Canadians until you guys get what you want from, you know, Trudeau. And then we are hoping to get everyone else involved, and then form a convoy to go to DC with some of the Canadian truckers that have said they are with us.
So, Benjamin, what do you want exactly? What are the demands? What are you going to stay there until happens?
It's pretty simple. Remove the mandates and remove the passport app, the digital app on your phone, the spyware, I call it, and abolish those two things, and then we're good to go. I think we're actually getting somewhere. I don't think this is going to be as long as we originally thought, because every strategy that the Trudeau government has tried, or Trudeau has tried, which is one strategy, and it's the same strategy over and over again of calling people names, even his own base of support is starting to get a little turned off on it. So I think at some point, when we look at the geopolitical landscape, where other countries too are dropping their mandates, in Denmark and the United Kingdom and so on, they have every opportunity to be the hero, to say, you know what, this was now is the time. The science has changed. We're going to lift the mandate and give everybody back their freedom. But that's difficult when you've backed yourself into a corner and engaged in, disgusting name calling, right? Unacceptable name calling. How about that?
But let me just, I'm going to play that tape in case people haven't seen what Justin Trudeau has said about this convoy.
We are not intimidated by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans.
It's the same strategy over and over again. And, you know, I explained this to Dave Rubin, that before the latest press release came out, I went to Twitter and I composed a prediction. It says in big letters, prediction, Prime Minister Diversity Blackface is going to come out in his press conference, and he's going to call everybody names. He's going to call us racist, Islamophobe, whatever phobe, homophobe, whatever, and try to shame us publicly, because extremists only have one strategy, which is to double down on the previous strategy. That's all he does. And in the past, it had, I guess, worked amongst his base, but even they have become skeptical, because people across the spectrum are just tired of division and being locked at home, right?
So, Denby, let me ask you, I understand you are a mother of 7, so you have a busy life. What was your breaking point? When did you say enough is enough and I need to get involved?
Seeing my kids not being able to do anything. Everything was closed. The malls, they closed, like the little playgrounds. We couldn't take our kids even to McDonald's. I mean, to a playland. My children, I started realizing the difference between my older children who are 19 and 22, the difference in their life. These little kids, they don't do anything. It's always just been about freedom to me because, I mean, our forefathers died for it. And I don't understand how people are just giving it up. And it's been a hard 2.5 years for me. I've cried many tears. And my children, I mean, just watching them, that's been my thing. And that's my driving force behind everything, because even the people who won't stand up for freedom and all these people are like, yeah, we were behind you. I'm like, if you're behind me, get with me. Don't just sit here and talk about it online. Do something. And I have been, just getting a bigger and bigger group of support, backing everything I do. And that's what it is. It's just about freedom. That's all I can say.
Are you hearing similar things from the people that are joining the rallies in Canada?
The only thing I would add is a more of a layer of desperation on top of that, just because of the economic catastrophe that they've suffered. But at the same time, so much of what's gone on has, over the past couple of weeks, has alleviated a lot of the stress and anxiety. Like, it's still there, but now they realize they're not alone, that the entire country is coalescing around them, minus a few, snobs in urban centers that, look at rural people a certain way. And that is, what I would call a Justin Trudeau's fringe minority. It's amazing how this country has come together, and for the first time in the country's history, I mean, you would know, there is, when you see people from Quebec, Canada's always had this problem with separatism, but the Quebecers coming in with both Quebec flags and Canadian flags and meeting with prairie farmers and truckers from Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba and hugging each other, getting to know each other, trying to talk, even though some of them speak French, some of them speak English. I saw a few of them. They had no idea what to say to each other. But one guy had a sign that said freedom, and the other guy had a sign that said liberté. But they feel the same way. And this sort of passion and emotion and acceptance towards each other has never been experienced in this country, at least not in my lifetime. And I feel like Canada has finally achieved its identity of unity. And Justin Trudeau, once again, wants to kill that.
Be sure to watch the entire episode, now available exclusively at epochtv.com, a new completely censorship-free premium subscription platform. Brought to you by the Epoch Times. See you there.